Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. Manchester United have just beaten Manchester City by 1-0 in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg at the Etihad Stadium. But obviously it isn't enough because City have gone through 3-2 on aggregate, and my own perception on it is City killed us off in the first leg basically, because I did say we had a 2-goal deficit to overcome. But Solskjaer now is the only manager that has beaten Pep Guardiola twice at the Etihad Stadium, basically. So we have not progressed into the final. Manchester City have progressed into the final. Obviously, in the first 20-odd minutes of the game, the first 20-25 minutes, City were totally dominant. The likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, Sergio Aguero, Raheem Sterling, and all that. And Ilkay Gundogan, were pressing us so much, and we were struggling, to get out of our own half, basically. And City, created a lot of chances in the first half. I think Aguero had a good 3 or 4 chances in the first half. David De Gea made some fantastic saves. I think also Raheem Sterling had one. Riyad Mahrez had one. David De Gea had currently saved it. So City were on top for the vast majority of the first half. But out of nowhere, we'd actually scored, and the goal came from Nemanja Matic. It came from a set piece. City struggled to clear it, and Nemanja Matic had currently struck from the edge of the box, and that was 1-0 to Manchester United, and that surprisingly. And that was our first shot on target in that first half, because I think City had around 9 shots in that first half, basically. So we was winning the game 1-0. By the way, I thought Nemanja Matic had a really good game. He was very creative in that midfield. And of course, until he got sent off in the game, because Nemanja Matic, of course, had been sent off in the second half due to a bad challenge that he had. 2 bad challenges that he had currently made. So I think now maybe Nemanja Matic is going to get one match suspension or something like that anyway. City, of course, had 2 goals disallowed, but there was both offside, so they were both correct decisions. Raheem Sterling had a disallowed goal in the first half. Aguero had a disallowed goal in the second half. I think, who played well for Man United. I think, like I said, Nemanja Matic played really, really well. I thought Fred did well tonight, to be fair. I thought he played between the lines well. I thought some of his touches were very, very good. But I thought the likes of Martial, I think Martial had 2 chances in the game. I think there was one what went over the bar. There was one from a save from Edison. But I don't think the likes of Martial and Mason Greenwood got enough service in the game. So that was my element of concern. They didn't really get enough service. I also thought Jesse Lingard was atrocious in that number 10. Lingard had a really bad game for Manchester United. And there was one point in the game where, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was shouting at Jesse Lingard. So he had a really bad game for Man United. Lindelof did make a mistake towards the end of the first half, so that could have led to a goal for Manchester City. Harry Maguire, of course, made a mistake in the second half. Obviously, Raheem Sterling should have scored in the second half. He'd obviously, tried rounding De Gea, but obviously, put the ball over the bar, basically. So City did have a lot of chances in the game. To be fair, I also thought David De Gea played well for us, because he made quite a lot of imperative saves in the game and that. But, got to say, we put our effort in, because, a lot of people would have expected us, to get thrashed tonight against Manchester City. But we did win the game by 1-0. We brought some substitutions on. Obviously, Mason Greenwood came off in the game. I think reportedly, Mason Greenwood had some kind of knock. So he came off, and Daniel James came on. I don't think Daniel James was too good when he came on, because again, I don't think Daniel James got enough service, and I don't think Daniel James has been too good in the last month. Obviously, we saw Pereira come on in the game for Jesse Lingard. Obviously, Juan Mata came on for Luke Shaw. And yeah, so I thought we had like a 10-minute spell in the second half where I thought we did all right, but I thought the vast majority of the game City totally dominated, but they just didn't have that cutting edge because City created a lot of chances. They dominated the possession. They got bodies in decent positions, and they did cause all sorts of problems for us. So David De Gea, you can say saved us. So if we'd have got that second goal, we've obviously would have took the game to extra time. I don't think away goals do count in the Carabao Cup. Actually, I thought away goals did count in the Carabao Cup. But to be fair, Solskjaer, did go with three at the back. He did go with three at the back tonight, and I said, Solskjaer should persist with three at the back because the three at the back, seems to suit our standards basically. He went with a 3-4-1-2 tonight, so I think he more or less went with the same team as what he went with against Tranmere. But he needs to stay with three at the back because on a regular basis this season, Solskjaer has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation, and we do know that hasn't seemed to suit our current standards. Bissaka, I don't think it was too bad tonight. I think, Lindelof, I think he made quite a few mistakes. I don't think Maguire was too good tonight from my own perception. Obviously, Luke Shaw was playing as a centre-back. I don't, think he was too good. So I thought our best players, were Fred and Nemanja Matic. Did really, really well in that midfield, to be fair. But, I said Martial could have scored. He got down the channels quite a few times, but, I just don't think we give him enough service. Greenwood wasn't at his best tonight, and I said, Greenwood would start this game before, the currently match started, because Greenwood tends to start a lot of the games in the Carabao Cup or any other cup competitions, but he doesn't really, get enough starts in the Premier League. So I think Solskjaer needs to play more in the Premier League and that. So we're not in the Carabao Cup now. City have progressed to the final. City will be playing Aston Villa in the final, I think, at the beginning of March. And I do believe, Manchester City are going to win the Carabao Cup. If they do, it's going to be their third Carabao Cup on the trot because they have won it in the past 2 seasons of Manchester City and that. But, City, still a very, very good team. Obviously, City are not going to win the league this season, and they haven't performed to the standards as we expected from them this season. That because obviously this season City were focusing on, trying to get their third Premier League title in a row because they've already won back-to-back titles, and obviously, City won the domestic treble last season, so City are still regarded as one of the best teams in England, but obviously, Pep Guardiola's given up on their title ambitions. City are fighting for runners-up, but they are going to get some silverware on the board this season because they are going to win the Carabao Cup. I also believe that, there's a possibility chance that City could win the FA Cup as well because, they are into the fifth round of the competition. I don't think they'll win the Champions League, because they haven't got a pedigree in the Champions League, basically. But, I think Pep Guardiola, is a very, very good manager. His philosophy is very, very good. Don't forget, he worked alongside Marcelo Bielsa when he was younger. So, obviously, he followed Marcelo Bielsa's philosophy, really. And he's a very, very good manager because he has won a lot in terms of silverware. So he's got a decent pedigree behind him as Pep Guardiola. And, you can say Man City, have bought their success, reflecting on the amount of money they've spent on players, Man City, and that. Obviously, they've had quite a few injuries. Obviously, Leroy Sané didn't play tonight because he was injured. Obviously, Benjamin Mendy's been injured. Laporte was injured for them not too long ago. I think he's back now. I don't know what's happening with Laporte at the moment. John Stones was recently injured in that. Obviously, Riyad Mahrez was playing tonight, but he'd sustained a knock previously. Also, so too did Joao Cancelo and that. So, City are still a very, very good team. But, it was good to get the win on the night, to be fair. I thought maybe in the second half we did improve in the second half. We got more bodies forward and we played, we passed the ball well. But in that first half, we couldn't get out of our own half. Like I mentioned, we couldn't play out from the back and, we couldn't really string any passes. We couldn't really keep the possession because City were applying so much pressure on our current back line. But obviously, now the Carabao Cup is no longer a priority for us because we are no longer in the Carabao Cup. But, we have got a few priorities, and obviously, the FA Cup is a priority for us because there's a possibility chance, that we can win the FA Cup. We are into the 5th round of the competition, which is very, very good. Also, the top 4 is a priority for us, because obviously we do want to get that top 4 this season. We do remain at the moment 6 points behind top 4, so there's a chance we could still get it. And that, if we can find that consistency in the Premier League, then there's a chance we can get that top 4. But the only main explanation why we're in that top 4 is because Chelsea have been so inconsistent this season. Also, there's a chance, we can win the Europa League, so that's another chance of getting silverware on the board. Also, that's another route to Champions League football, basically. So we have got quite a few ambitions. I haven't seen Solskjaer's match reaction after the game against Man City, basically. Now, I think he will be delighted, that we got the win on the night. But it probably will be disappointing, that we, didn't progress to the final of the competition, basically. So that is the disappointing thing. And all of that. So we move on now. We have got a big game coming up this weekend against Wolves in the Premier League. That's going to be a tough game for Manchester United. Like I said, Wolves are a very, very decent team. They've got a good manager in Nuno Santo, and their record against the top 6 sides is very, very good. And obviously, Solskjaer has now beaten Wolves as a manager, because obviously, we beat them in the FA Cup 3rd round replay. But prior to that, Wolves were undefeated in their last 5 games prior to that FA Cup 3rd round replay. So Solskjaer is looking to beat Wolves as a manager for the 2nd time this weekend. There has been reports emerging out saying that, a lot of Manchester United fans will be walking out in the 58th minute. Whether this will happen or not, I do not know. I think it said they're going to be walking out in the 58th minute because obviously, they're not happy with what's going on at the football club at the moment. And also, with the remembrance of Munich. So whether this happens or not, I do not know. But preview for the Man United Wolves game will be coming up. It should be tomorrow, or maybe on Friday. The preview will be coming up for that. It is 5:30 on Saturday by the way, the game against Wolves. So we now have got to, of course, focus on the Premier League. We've got to focus on the Premier League, basically now. And then after Wolves, it is Chelsea away from home. And I think that's on the 17th or the 18th of February in that. But, like I said, I can take some credit for tonight, that we did win the current game and that. But, it wasn't good enough because, we didn't go through overall on aggregate. So now I do believe from my own perception that Manchester City are going to definitely win the Carabao Cup. But I still believe that Manchester United, need to stick with that current back 3. So, yeah. And obviously, I've given you the news regarding Bruno Fernandes today. Earlier on today, Sky Sports confirmed earlier on that Man United have agreed a deal to sign Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. He has not yet had his medical, or the personal terms has not yet been agreed. But, he confirmed earlier on today that Bruno Fernandes had travelled to, he went to the office, he headed off to the offices of Sporting Lisbon, obviously, to terminate his contract. But he is set to undergo a medical, so I think he's going to have his medical tomorrow. He's going to cost us around €55 million. This is what we will pay up front, and these are around £25 million in add-ons. So that does rise up to around €80 million. So €80 million equates to around 68 million in pounds sterling, basically, in that. But 68 million, this is what Sporting Lisbon have wanted for the entirety of the January transfer window. The add-ons are based on how many appearances he makes. Also, with us qualifying for the Champions League, and I think, with him, winning the Ballon d'Or. So, these are, based on the add-ons and that. I think Bruno Fernandes is going to sign a 5-year contract with Manchester United. So he will be under contract with the club until 2025. And, he's our 7th most expensive player in history is Bruno Fernandes. So I just want to confirm that. But the reports came out the other day saying that, Man United had breakthrough in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon. Ed Woodward had come to an agreement with, the Sporting Lisbon president. He'd come to an agreement, but Sky Sports did confirm, which is a very reliable source. They said, that we'd increased our offer twice for Bruno Fernandes, in the past 24 hours, because we did initially have our first bid turned down for him. Then obviously, it did say that Barcelona had come in at the final hurdle for Bruno Fernandes. They was planning to hijack our move for him. They was proposed to sign him in the summer, and they was willing to get him until 2025. But then Barcelona, were determined to then immediately loan him out to Valencia, so then they could get a deal over the line for Rodrigo, basically. But obviously that hasn't happened, because I think his preference is a move to the Premier League, is Bruno Fernandes. But, like I said, we should have got Bruno Fernandes earlier on in the window. We should have got him at the beginning of the month. We arguably, should have got Bruno Fernandes last summer, because last summer we was relentlessly linked with Bruno Fernandes. But the main explanation why we didn't get Bruno Fernandes last summer is because, we wasn't willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. Sporting Lisbon wanted around, £70 million. We was not determined to meet that £70 million valuation, because, we only valued Bruno Fernandes at around £50 million. Don't forget, last summer, City were close to getting him. Liverpool also went in for him, and so too did Tottenham. But he is now going to be a Manchester United player. So I am very, very delighted about this. So it should be official tomorrow, like I said. And I'm excited about the prospect of him coming in, because, he is going to dramatically improve us. Like I said, he is predominantly an attacking midfielder. We are seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, because I'm still very convinced that Paul Pogba will leave the football club in the summer. And, so he's going to be a great addition to the squad. And I think he can succeed in the Premier League. So I think in the Premier League, he can replicate, what he's done in his 2.5 years in Portugal. Because in his 2.5 years with Portugal, Bruno Fernandes scored 64 goals in 137 appearances in all competitions. Scored 32 goals in all competitions last season. And played around 19 times for Portugal. And he only extended his contract last year with Sporting Lisbon, until 2023. So he is going to be a fantastic player for Man United, and he is going to be our first signing of this year, and he's going to be our fourth signing overall under the Mulligan and Solskjaer era. So Solskjaer has now recruited 4 players in 3 transfer windows and that. But, Bruno Fernandes is only 25 years of age, and he's going to fit our transfer strategy perfectly, because Solskjaer did confirm that he still wants us to recruit, young players to the club, despite the fact, that we have already got a lot of young players in the squad. So, like I said, revert back to what I said, Bruno Fernandes should be official tomorrow. Should be official tomorrow. And I know obviously early on in the window there was talks about Marcos Rojo was going as part of the deal. There was also talks of probably Andres Pereira going as part of the deal and that. But this is a straight cash deal. So Bruno Fernandes did play against Martimo for Sporting Lisbon recently, and obviously that was his last game as a Sporting Lisbon player. But he looked dead in the water a couple of days ago, because the Sporting Lisbon boss came out and he said he was unsure whether that was Bruno Fernandes' last game as a Sporting Lisbon player. But we know that more signings are needed at Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes isn't enough. I think in the summer, we need another 4 signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and if we are, to be up there challenging for major honours. We need another 4 signings. I think Manchester United need a striker. I think we need a full-back. We possibly need a right winger, and we also need a holding midfielder. So we need to do this in the summer and that. And, we will see what happens. But despite the fact that we've been inconsistent in the last 6 or 7 years, I still think, we've got the resources in the back end of the club, to get the right calibre players in to Manchester United, definitely in that. But, if we'd have had Bruno Fernandes, against Burnley, would have beat Burnley. He should have been in the stands spectating in the Liverpool game. But as long as, we have now got the deal over the line for the player, that is the main thing. That is the main thing, definitely. And that's the main thing in that. So, reverting back to what I said about the game against City tonight, we won the game. We wasn't so good, but, don't forget, we've got Rashford out with injury. He sustained double fracture in his back. And Rashford is going to be out for at least the next couple of months, is Marcus Rashford. And, Rashford is a big miss because, like I said, he had inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch. He scored 19 goals in all competitions this season for Man United before he got injured. And he scored 63 senior goals for the football club since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. So, obviously, this injury he's got now is totally comparison to the one he had earlier on in the season and that. But Rashford is definitely the long-term solution for Man United. Obviously, there was no McTominay tonight. There was no Paul Pogba. We missed creativeness in that midfield, without them two there. Solskjaer did give us an update regarding Paul Pogba. He actually said that Paul Pogba is desperate to play for Manchester United. Obviously, I can't estimate when he's going to be back. I can't estimate the exact date, but I think he's going to return sometime in February. Solskjaer did confirm that Paul Pogba has had his ankle cast removed, but when he does come back, that will be a big boost for Manchester United because Paul Pogba's only made around 8 appearances this season. He's missed the vast majority of our games this season due to injury. McTominay, I would be determined to keep him because I thought before he got injured, he was doing really, really well. So we've had quite a lot of injuries this season. Obviously, Baye's just come back from injury. I'm surprised again, he didn't play any part tonight. I'm surprised he didn't play against Tranmere because Baye is now back from injury. Baye, was out with a knee injury since pre-season and Eric Baye is very injury prone. But now he is back because not too long ago he was playing for the under-23s. Also, Fosu Mensah is now back from injury. So take that into account. And I think actually, Solskjaer views Fosu Mensah as a right back. To be quite honest with you. But Baye and Fosu Mensah are now back. I still believe Rojo's out. I still believe Tuanzebe is out. But I think Tuanzebe is working back to full fitness. So we have got quite a few players out with injury. But, I think Manchester United need to try and get someone in on loan before this January transfer window does end. Don't forget that it's transfer deadline day on Friday. We've got to try and get someone in on loan. And obviously, there's been a lot of narratives going on in the mainstream media regarding Islam Slimani. Now, reportedly says Man United and Tottenham have been in talks to get Islam Slimani from, Monaco and that. And Islam Slimani has, notified Monaco that he wants to end his current loan spell at Monaco. So he wants to basically, leave Monaco. Now, he's 31 years of age. Obviously, before he was at Monaco, he had loan spells with Newcastle and Fenerbahce. I think they were unsuccessful loan spells for him. But Leicester did pay around £29 million for him from Sporting Lisbon back in 2016. And at that current time, he was a record signing for Leicester, was Islam Slimani. I think he's actually not keen on a move to Tottenham. But like I mentioned, Leicester have said they want around £4 million loan fee. So Man United or Tottenham have got to pay around £4 million for him. Was in for Edinson Cavani, but he's on his way to Atletico Madrid. So he has been acquiring a few strikers on our current agenda in that. So we've got to try and get a striker in. Martial, like I said, wasn't too good tonight. I think he's had some bad games this season, but I think he's also had some good games. Daniel James hasn't been so good in the last month. So we need to try and get an attacker in until the end of the season. The main factor reason why Tottenham have gone in for him is due to the injury of Harry Kane. because I think Harry Kane is going to be out for quite some time, basically, in that. Tottenham have obviously, signed 2 players in this January transfer window. They've signed Bergwijn from PSV. That got confirmed, I think, earlier on today. They also signed Gedson Fernandes earlier on in the window from Benfica. I think they got him on like an 18-month loan, but Tottenham do have the option to buy. And they have got Giovanni Lo Celso on a permanent deal of Tottenham, so that has been currently confirmed. Also, Arsenal did confirm the sign of Pablo Mari from Flamengo. So Arsenal have currently signed him. I think it did say they're set to get him on loan. But they do have the option to make the deal permanent. I haven't really read up into the Pablo Mari news, but Arsenal have currently signed him and that. Tottenham, of course, did lose Christian Eriksen and that. Yeah, he's officially joined Inter Milan, basically, and that. So, yeah. But, like I said, more incomings are needed at Manchester United. Solskjaer, expects more departures at the club because, these 2 more players that need to leave Manchester United. Obviously, Ashley Young has left this year so far. A lot of players left last summer, and a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I want to give you some news as well regarding Marcus Rojo. He's set to go out on loan to Estudia Nantes, or however you pronounce the name, if I've pronounced it correctly. So he's set to reunite in Argentina, is Marcus Rojo. He's set to reunite in Argentina, is Marcus Rojo and that. So I think he's set to go to Estudiantes on loan, basically. Now, obviously, I'm surprised that Rojo didn't leave the club last summer because don't forget, Everton had inquired about getting him on loan, basically. So yeah, it's looking likely, Rojo is going to be currently going out on loan. Manchester United, got him from Sporting Lisbon back in 2014 for £16 million, was it? So he's now into his current 6th season at Manchester United, and he's only started around 13 games in the last 2 years or so. So that indicates out that Marcus Rojo's appearances have been limited at Manchester United. He can play as centre half, he can also play as a fullback, so he's very, very versatile. Don't forget, Rojo got his contract extended in March of last year. He did actually sign him a 3-year deal with the football club. So like I said, it's looking likely he's going to be going to Estudiantes on loan. This is being confirmed from BBC Sport and Sky Sports. So yeah, Rojo is going to be going out on loan. I think the club also needs to get rid of Phil Jones because I think he's another one of the problematic players. We've got to get rid of Matic. I was reading reports today saying that, we're in talks over extending Matic's contract, because his current contract is due to expire at the end of the season. But Matic was good tonight, and I think he's had a few good games as a Manchester United player, but I've got element of concerns about him. I still think he's too slow for Man United's Matic. And yes, I think we need to get rid of him. Jesse Lingard, too inconsistent. We need to get rid of him. Had a good game against Tranmere, but was very poor tonight against City. And he didn't score 1 goal or he didn't provide 1 assist last season. Bruno Fernandes, Jesse Lingard. He didn't provide 1 goal or 1 assist last season. So that just indicates how poor he's been. Chong, I think he will go on a free transfer in the summer. Juventus and Inter Milan are in for him. A lot of people are saying we should get rid of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, I think, Luke Shaw, as he's struggling now to find that consistency. I think Luke Shaw, has had a lot of injury problems as a Man United player, and he's initially now lost his place in the team because obviously, Brandon Williams is our first choice left back. Shaw did play tonight as centre half. Brandon Williams was playing as a left wing back, but Brandon Williams is a much better solution than Luke Shaw. But I still think Brandon Williams is too inexperienced, so I think, we need to try and get a left back in. Pereira, I think, needs to be moved on. So there's still a lot of players that need to leave Manchester United, definitely in that. And, Solskjaer was recently coming out saying that, a number of players that would be linked within this January transfer window, he hasn't even heard of. But he did say, he won't make signings for the sake of it, to satisfy, our infuriated fans basically. And that, Solskjaer wants to make sure he can get the right calibre players into the football club, definitely. This is what he does want to make sure, there's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. So, yeah, definitely more players need to leave the club. I give you the news, didn't I, earlier on today, regarding Ed Woodward and that. Obviously, Ed Woodward's mansion yesterday night, of course, had been approached by around 20 Manchester United fans, alleged Manchester United fans. Of course, they had vandalised his current £2 million mansion in Cheshire. They launched fireworks and smoke bombs at his mansion and that. That's, you don't do that. Obviously Ed Woodward wasn't in at the time, and obviously, Ed Woodward's got quite a few kids. But you don't do that, and I know there's a lot of United fans infuriated, with the way the football club's been run for the last 6 or 7 years at least. Obviously, a lot of United fans have been protesting Ed Woodward. They've also been protesting the Glazers because, the Glazers have been generating money out of this football club. But I want Ed Woodward out and I want the Glazers out. But, there's still no excuse to do that to Ed Woodward's mansion. The police are investigating it. It has been confirmed that, no one got hurt in the incident. I don't think nothing much more has updated them about that news. If it does, I will be straight back on this channel. But anyone found guilty, they will be banned from the football club for life, basically. But, I think we need to see a variety of changes at the football club anywhere. I think we need to get Eddie Woodward out. We need to get the Glazers out. We need to get our current board out, because our board have been a liability for several years. It was a shame that we didn't get a director of football in last summer, because I do believe that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. I still think we need to change of management, because I still feel as though that Solskjaer is not the long-term solution for Manchester United. He's not the long-term solution for Manchester United. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And, it's not the right solution to sack him at this moment in time, because we are determined to back him at least in the next couple of windows. So we're going to see who we can recommend in to the football club. Solskjaer's got 2.5 years left on his deal. If things do improve, then I think he will see out his 2.5-year deal. But if they don't, he won't see out his 2.5-year deal at the club, basically. But obviously if we decided to sack Solskjaer any time within this 2.5-year period, then obviously, the club would have to pay something in compensation to get rid of him. I think we'd have to pay around £5 million to get rid of Solskjaer and that. He won't resign as Manchester United manager, because obviously then he wouldn't get a payoff. But Solskjaer is under serious pressure at the football club, basically. He's been here 13 months. He's been here over a year. He's been permanent manager now for almost 11 months. And, Solskjaer is aware that he's got many expectations to exceed now in his second year. It is a transition period for Man United. Solskjaer is hopeful that we can get through this transition period and that. So we will see what happens. But it is going to take a long rebuilding process to get us back, to where we want to be. But I'm very sceptical, that we're going to get our 21st title under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, especially in that. Solskjaer, has been talking about Jurgen Klopp, recently. He was coming out. This was prior to the game tonight against City, and he was actually, saying that, he gave his overarching view basically on Jurgen Klopp, playing the under-23s in Liverpool's replay against Shrewsbury, and he actually, said that, we quit the FA Cup in 2000. Solskjaer still regrets it at this day and age, but despite the fact that it is 20 years ago, basically, and that, a lot of people are criticising Jurgen Klopp. Some people agree with him, playing the under-23s in the replay against Shrewsbury. Solskjaer feels as though that he needs time, to build a team like Jurgen Klopp's, and he thinks, maybe if he's given more time as well, it can emulate into Jurgen Klopp. I don't see Solskjaer emulating into Jurgen Klopp, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't see that happening, basically. As you all know, Sanchez is returning to the football club next season. So he's going to be, coming back to Manchester United in the summer, and he's going to be, with the rest of the pre-season squad. Is Alexis Sanchez. Solskjaer feels as though that Sanchez can prove us all wrong, when he does make his return. So he isn't going to be making a permanent move to Inter Milan. He isn't going to be making a move to any other club in the summer, because he is coming back to Manchester United, is Alexis Sanchez. Now, I think this is a bad decision from the football club. I don't think, we should give, Sanchez another opportunity, because, Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months with Manchester United, and that, he was obviously, he had a lot of injuries. He had a lot of injuries, did Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, he made around 45 appearances in all competitions and only managed around 5 goals, is Sanchez. We got Sanchez back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal and that. And I thought he would have succeeded at Manchester United, but obviously at Manchester United, he didn't replicate, what he did at Arsenal. He didn't replicate, what he did at Barcelona when he was younger, under Pep Guardiola's guidance and that. So, yeah, he's coming back to Manchester United, and I think his loan spell is coming to an end with Inter Milan in June, basically. Despite the fact that he's on loan with Inter Milan, though, we are still paying the vast majority of his wages. I still believe we're paying him around £300,000 a week, is it? When he was at Man United, we was paying him around 400 grand a week. But with the add-ons included, it rised up to £500,000 a week, basically. So that meant in that aspect he was the highest paid player at the football club. But, the only solution was to loan him out, because we couldn't get rid of him on a permanent transfer, reflecting on, the wages he was on. And I think it had a bad effect on our current wage structure, to be quite honest with you. So Sanchez, of course, is coming back to Manchester United, like Solskjaer confirmed. Wait a minute. I am now back, guys. Sorry about that. I was just doing something. But yeah, so Sanchez is coming back to the football club. So yeah. By the way, Liverpool did win tonight against West Ham by 2 goals to nil. 2-0 at the London Stadium. It was goals from Mohamed Salah. He scored from the penalty spot. And the second goal was from Oxlade-Chamberlain, who just recently recovered from injury, and also Salah had got an assist in the game. Didn't really watch the game and that, but Liverpool have now extended their unbeaten run to 41 in the Premier League. So they're unbeaten in 41 Premier League games. They are now sitting 19 points in front of City, 22 points in front of Leicester, and they have won 23 games out of 24 in the Premier League of Liverpool. So Liverpool are on course to win their first Premier League title, in 30 years. So they are going to end their 30-year drought. But Liverpool are absolutely unstoppable. I think Liverpool are, going to probably get more than 100 points this season. So they are going to, break Man City's record from a couple of years ago, when Man City, of course, did finish on 100 points. So yeah, definitely they are going to win the league this season, are Liverpool. And I think, they could go undefeated this season. I think, they can replicate what Arsenal did back in 2004, because they're the only team at the moment to go undefeated in one season in the Premier League era. But, I think Liverpool can, get 100 points this season. Definitely, Liverpool's last defeat came to Man City last season, when they did lose by 2-1 at the Etihad Stadium. But Liverpool showed a good response from their 2-2 draw with Shrewsbury last weekend. And I knew Liverpool would win this game, because like I mentioned, West Ham are in turmoil. There's a lot of cultural problems at West Ham that need to be addressed, and they need someone to come in to change the culture of their club. They've got problems on the pitch, they've got problems with their backroom staff, they've also got problems with their manager in David Moyes. So yeah, you know, West Ham need to see changes at their football club, definitely in that. So Liverpool did win by 2-0. But like I said, Liverpool are the best team in England now. Klopp's a really, really good manager. His philosophy is really, really good. Liverpool plays a unit. And Jurgen Klopp has won 3 trophies now as Liverpool manager, so he's going to be on course to win his 4th major honour as Liverpool manager, you know, basically in that. So that's basically, you know, everything to update you with today, guys. You know, drop your comments, likes on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.